thing. It was crazy.
Yeah. I've heard that this is the first time for you to come to China.
This is my first time in China. I'm so excited. I wanted to come here for many, many, many years, and now I'm here in Beijing. I'm very, very excited.
And you've also met the fans outside.
I did. Where's all those fans? Are they all over there? Hi, fans. Hi.
Aren't they cute?
They're amazing. I felt the love. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the love that you just showed me the other day. I love you too. I love you too.
All right, we would like to talk more about this movie, Shazam,
yes.
And I would now like to offer you a seat. So.
Oh, we have chairs? Oh, wow, you scared us.
我们请工作人员把椅子拿上来。So we've all seen. So tell us more about this character. What's so special about it?
Well, there's so many special things about Shazam, but I think the most prominent difference with this film and this character and franchise, as opposed to all of the other incredible characters in the DC universe, is that he's a child. He's 14 years old, and he's a foster kid. So he's basically on this mission to try and find his mother, and while doing that over as many years, at 14 he's now put into a new foster home, and he's trying to figure that out, while simultaneously he gets whisked away to this magical realm called the Rock of Eternity, and a wizard named Shazam, in his dying breath says, "I have chosen you to be Earth's mightiest mortal because of the purity of your heart, and say my name and all my powers will be transferred to you." Billy doesn't know what the heck is going on, but he does it, and then he transforms into this big goofy guy right here, but he's still 14 inside, so he looks like an adult, and he's got a bunch of superpowers that he's trying to figure out. So it's a great origin story in that. It's me learning all of that, which you've seen a bit of. But I'm still 14 inside, so that's different than any other DC character that I know of. It's also, though, I think, perhaps one of the most iconic hero stories that we all believe or know, which is the child in all of us who wishes to be a superhero and then gets to be a superhero. And I know when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a superhero. Even as an adult, I want to be a superhero. So this is all just incredible, bucket list wish fulfillment.
Yeah, right. I'm not gonna just read. 我刚才问在，他其实觉得，因为 DC 有很多各种各样的超级英雄，他觉得沙赞跟其他超级英雄有什么样的不同？那他就说到，他觉得其实其他的超级英雄各有各的特色，但是沙赞他其实内心里是一个大男孩，不是一个大男孩，其实是个14岁的少年。当他被挑选成为那个天选之人的时候，他其实自己也不知道到底自己拥有什么样的神力，会发生什么样的事情。所以在这个角度上，他其实内心里还是有个14岁的少年，这是跟其他的 DC 的超级英雄不太一样的。那么他也说他其实从小就想当一个超级英雄，现在长大了还想当一个超级英雄。对于他来讲，饰演沙赞这个角色是把他人生当中的各种愿望清单都一一勾上了，这个是他觉得特别幸福的一件事情。
That was so good. That was exactly what I said. That was exactly what I said. You are really good.
That was briefly what you said. Wow. Well, you talk a little bit about this. Shazam is so masculine and so.
I've been in the gym 6 days a week for the last year and a half, and eating so much chicken and broccoli that I'm surprised there's any chicken or broccoli left on the face of the earth right now. I feel like I've eaten all of it. So that was the muscle side of things for me, which also I'm very grateful for. And I'm healthier and stronger now than I've ever been in my life, and I would never change that for anything. But the kid in me, that was actually the easiest part, because I have resisted growing up for so long that I just got to be my natural, not entirely, obviously I'm an adult now and I have some responsibilities, but I've just always liked fun. I like feeling joy and bringing joy. I think that's why I became an actor, right? It's a great way to bring joy to people. So then I started there, but then I also, was working with really talented, amazing kids that were about 14 years old, and so I would just kind of study them a little bit and feel their energy and realize, they're silly. They all act silly. When we're 14, we're running around and punching each other and poking each other and laughing and playing tag. Like, yes, that's what happens when you are young and have no responsibilities. You get to have fun more. So just trying to tap into that.
我刚才问在他是怎么样把那个少年 的那一种感觉放在沙赞这个角色里面。他就说，沙赞有两面，第一面就是那个很强壮的超级英雄嘛，他为了这个角色也吃了好久的鸡肉和西兰花，他觉得他把世界上所有的鸡肉和西兰花都吃掉了，他都不知道还有没有什么剩的了。每周去6天的健身房，持续了。How did you work out? For how long did you work out? 6 months?
No, well, before we started shooting the film, I had been working out for about 4 months or so. But it's been a year and a half. I've still been doing it.
Okay. 6天去健身房，持续了4个月。当然有筹备的时间是1年半，他整个时间都是一直在保持这样的频率了。那他也讲到，那个少年心，其实在他本人的心里一直都是存在的。他觉得他一直都是一个很活泼、很有想象力的人。到了片场以后呢，他也会发现跟他一起搭档的那一些小男孩们，个个都很好玩，然后也很 silly， 也很傻，然后大家一起互相打闹啦，互相戳对方啦，各种玩闹，所以也激发了他内心里那种少年气。
That was a long way of saying 4 months.
No, I also.
I'm kidding.
Okay, you are a teenager.
I am a teenager. See, it all worked out.
对他内心里还是很少年的，很中二少年的。We talked a little bit about how you work with Jack, with Asher, and also with Mark. What was it like working with them?
It was fantastic. Unfortunately, Asher and I never really got to work together because we were the same person.
Yeah.
So it would be me, and then it would be, but we would be at work sometimes on the same days and get to pal around, and that was always great to kind of feel like what his energy was like. Jack is so funny. He's so talented. He's so whip smart. To have him be my scene partner, I don't know that I could have dreamt of a better kid to, as an adult you have a lot of years of learning your talents and hopefully understanding comedy, and he just has such a great grasp of it at such a young age. So we had a blast doing all that stuff, and Mark and I had a great time as well. Obviously our scenes were less about the comedy and far more about the good versus evil, but he's delightful. He's so talented. I've been a fan of his far before I ever got to work with him, and really just a lovely person.
他讲到，其实我们都看到那个 Asher Angel 跟他饰演的是同一个角色，所以他们很少在片场上遇到。但他也讲到，像 Jack Dylan Grazer， 他跟他同框的时候，他觉得对方实在是太好玩了，他有点天生就是喜剧演员的感觉，给他带来了无数的灵感。他也讲到马强叔，我们的 Mark Strong， 他跟他在片场没有什么喜剧的部分呢，都是好人对坏人的这样的情景，所以他就觉得没有那么fun。但是他说 Mark 本人也是非常开心、非常活泼的一个人，他一直都是他的粉丝，好久好久了，所以他本人也非常的敬仰他。Right.
Oh, I mean, it's their dreams coming true. It's again, I mean, since I was a little boy, being a superhero, and I think, Superman is probably the most iconic superhero that everyone in the world, kind of knows, and that I get to now be in that world with Batman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, and Flash, and Cyborg, all, the Justice League. I hope that they'll make more Justice Leagues, and I hope that I get to be in the Justice League.
我来翻译的这段，我刚问他加入 DC 大家庭感觉怎么样？那他说，对于他来讲，绝对是梦想成真。他一直都是，比如说像超人、蝙蝠侠、绿灯侠、神奇女侠的粉丝。他也说，上帝保佑让他加入正义联盟，所以我们祝福他了。Fingers crossed.
All the fingers crossed, and the toes, and crossing all of the toes. Crossing my eyes. Sometimes it's really.
All right. Why don't we take some questions from the press right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
They have so many questions for you. 那我们接下来开启媒体。
It's funny you should ask. What did he say? Yeah, whisper.
No, he asked that David F. Sandberg is known for his horror movies, and also James Wan for Aquaman. He's also known for different styles of DC movies. So what was it like working with David, and what kind of distinctive style did he bring to Shazam?
Yeah, excellent question. So I really feel like David was a very inspired choice as a director, particularly because of his horror background. So when you have a movie that at its heart is a 14-year-old boy, and you're telling a superhero story with a lot of youth and a lot of kids in the movie, and that it's a 14-year-old boy in an adult body, that is already inherently going to be funny and have heart. You know, those things are natural. The difficult thing is trying to balance all of that and make it real and grounded and sometimes very scary. There's some very scary moments in the movie for kids. And David, coming from a horror background, in horror movies, so much of it is not in the words. It's in the camera movements. It's in how you shape a scene and capture a scene. And timing is so important. And making things kind of dark and weird and creepy. So I think David was a fantastic choice and helped to balance, all of the heart and the funny, which also he totally understands and I think amplified as well.
他刚刚提到导演大卫 F. 桑德伯格的这个恐怖片的背景，其实对于他来讲是很不一样的一种特色。比如说我们在恐怖片当中，他提到运镜也很重要，氛围的构造也很重要，节奏的掌握，还有那个时间是特别特别重要的。这些其实在喜剧片当中都可以有借鉴的地方。他也提到，其实里面的喜剧除了他要很搞笑、很落地之外呢，但是他其实还是要有一些其他的精髓在里面。那他觉得大卫导演平衡的非常的好。Next question. Here comes an interesting question.
I couldn't tell.
If you were to choose to compete with another DC superhero, who would you pick, and against what? I mean, for what?
And for what?
For example, for the fastest man or for the strongest man.
Gotcha. Well,
for the title.
So,
who would you pick?
The title of the best. Who's the best overall? I don't know. Well, I mean, I really do think. I think, like, if Shazam was in the Justice League, he'd probably be challenging the Flash to race, foot racing all the time, just to see who's fastest. I love that at the end of Justice League, that little, that ending bit with Superman and Flash having that race. Like, because we all think about that all the time. Billy would be thinking about that all the time. But I feel like it would be with Superman. I mean, throughout the comics, Superman and Captain Marvel and Shazam have had many interesting fights, and it's no one knows for sure who's more powerful. I mean, I know that I'm more powerful. I know. But because Superman's susceptible to magic, and I'm magic. So is the character of Shazam, and I think that the two of us having a big fight and trying to figure that out will be a lot of fun. And then we'd be evenly matched. I mean, put his arm around me and be like, "Hey, welcome to the club, kid. I'm gonna show you some ropes." That'd be fun.
他说，如果让他选的话，他首先会选闪电侠 Flash。那他说会跟他比谁更快。他还说他一直都记得在正义联盟最后的那个有一场镜头，就是超人和闪电侠他们俩在比谁快。我相信你们都记得那个镜头啊，对吧？他觉得那个镜头对于他来讲，他是小孩子的时候就已经觉得那个镜头很爽很好玩，所以他就觉得可能会跟闪电侠比一比。那他其实也提到说，也可以跟超人比一比啊。他一直都很梦想看到他们两个打斗的场景，并且他也提到说，也可能超人也会拍拍他的肩膀说啊，欢迎加入 DC 大家庭，应该也是一个很有趣的场景。很好的一个问题。Has 6 powers. Which one did you personally want to possess, and to do what?
Well, I have more than 6 powers, if we're counting. I have 6. My name is comprised of 6 different entities, 2 gods, 2 demigods, a titan, and a man in the Bible. Which Solomon, the wisdom of Solomon, I think, is probably my favorite of all of the powers, because I believe that if you have that, all things can be added onto you. So then, I could build a super suit that has all of the other powers if I had the wisdom of Solomon. But what? I'm sorry. What was the question?
To do what? If you have the power that you just chosen.
Oh yes. Well,
to do what? What would you like to do in real life?
If I can only have one, I would choose that, and then I'd build a super suit and do other cool things because I have all that wisdom, and then I'd go help, protect the world. Like, I mean, if you had all those powers, if I had all these powers, and I was just sitting around playing Xbox every day and letting all the bad stuff happen, like, come on, you can't do that. You got to use it. Like, with great power comes great responsibility. We know this.
Yeah, of course. 那我们刚才那位记者问他想要什么样的超能力，他说我不止6种神奇力量，如果你数的话，他说我会有更多。那如果让他自己挑一个他最想拥有的力量，就会是所罗门的智慧。他觉得拥有了智慧，他就能够做各种各样的事情。他能够，比如说他能够自己做更厉害的战袍啦，比如说他能够拯救世界啦。如果让他挑选，他会说，如果拥有智慧的话，他愿意去拯救世界；如果拥有超能力，他绝对不会是那种坐在家里去打电玩的人。他觉得这样实在是太浪费了。他一定会去做拯救世界的事情。因为 with great power comes great responsibility.
I recognize that part. That I know.
对，责任越大，能力越大；能力越大，责任越大。好，我们再从这边。Cool, no job for me now. No, I don't understand that. I don't understand Chinese.
Just kidding. Interesting stories. I mean, well, it was very cold. We shot in Toronto in the middle of winter, and Toronto, Canada is very cold in the middle of winter, and my suit, as cool as it looks, it does not keep me warm at all. So that was interesting. And we shot outside at night a lot, so it was a very cool experience. But other than that, I mean, we just had a lot of fun, honestly. When you get to play a big kid and then you get to act with a lot of kids, there's just a lot of fun and silliness. I brought my Nintendo Switch, and then we played Mario Kart between scenes and takes just to keep all of the, youthfulness going. And, I caught a bus. I mean, there's all kinds of fun things that happen.
虽然说在片场有很多很好玩的事情，刚才那位记者问他，这么好玩的一个电影，在片场应该有很多有趣的事情。他就说，其实他第一个记得的就是很冷，因为他们在冬天拍的，在深冬的时候拍的这个电影，而且是在加拿大多伦多非常冷的一个地方。他说，你看到预告片当中他穿着那个外套、那个战袍很帅，但是完全没有保暖的作用，所以他在片场冻得半死。他也说到好多戏也是在夜里拍的，所以就更加的冷了。但是呢，在片场也是很好玩的东西。他说整个拍摄的环境都很轻松，他甚至还把任天堂带去了片场，一直在玩游戏。That was true.
The Carol movie was connected to its family scene.
Absolutely, great question.
Thank you.
So yeah, really, I mean, there's a lot of themes and genres and everything in the film. Which is quite fun that we get to tap into a lot of different things. Obviously, it's a superhero movie with classic good versus evil theme in it. There's also the wish fulfillment of it all, the kid in all of us who gets to be a superhero. And a lot of that brings the comedy, but the beating heart of the movie really is the family dynamic. In fact, family is so strong a theme in the movie that you get parts of that in Dr. Savannah's story, and obviously you get a lot of that stuff with Billy's story throughout. Billy's trying to find his biological family. Billy then finds himself in yet another foster family. That foster family is comprised of such an incredibly diverse group of children and parents. The racial diversity in the film, I think, is fantastic. The fact that there's a child who's handicapped in Freddie Freeman. All of the children are foster kids. That is a family that I've never seen in a movie before. I've never, obviously there have been stories that involve foster kids, but I don't think there's ever been such a diverse and powerful group of kids that Billy can find himself in, and really, coming to the understanding that sometimes the family that loves you is not the one that you're born into, but rather the one that you find and that finds you later in life.
他讲的还挺有深度的。刚才那位记者问的问题是，除了我们都看到的一些爆笑的元素之外呢，其实有另外一个元素，比如说是家庭的元素，在《雷霆沙赞》当中很明显。那再就是说是他很开心能够提这个问题，因为他觉得在这个电影当中，我们都看到很多超级英雄的元素，比如说有梦想成真的少年啊，有正义与邪恶的斗争啊，这些超级英雄元素都有。但其实呢，还有一个家庭的元素，比如说像那个14岁的少年比利他的一个家庭，还包括像希瓦纳博士他的家庭也都有描绘。那他也提到说，这个14岁的少年 Billy 他本来在寻找自己的生父生母，但又发现自己又到了一个寄养家庭当中。但有很多细节，比如说在这个寄养家庭当中是非常的多元的，你甚至能看到不同的种族，你能够看到一个残疾的一个儿童，你会看到很包容的元素。他就说在这当中，他就得出，而且这个结论还挺深刻的，就是说，你的家庭你最爱的和最爱你的家庭，并不一定是你生下来就发现的那个家庭，而是你去寻找并且找到你的那个家庭，有可能是最爱你的那个家庭。I really like that. Yeah. 我们也请工作人员把礼物拿上来好吗 ？A special gift for you.
A special gift.
Yes.
Oh. Is it row? A row?
Yes. A row.
Do
you want to pick it up and show it to the media?
Oh,
yes. Okay. 那我们中国的粉丝们也专门为在做这样的一个披风，超帅的，有闪电的 logo， 并且上面如果你看清 ，Would you like to put it on? Cool. There we go. 你看 ，cool. Yeah, it looks good. 摄影师留下这样的一个可爱的，并且很勇猛的瞬间，很 Shazam 的瞬间。Okay. I'll ask our photographer to take down the Shazam moment. Okay. The photographer will, and you may strike some strong poses if you like. 我们看电影当中有那个沙赞有一个白色的披风，而这个是充满中国元素的。你看到这个丝绸的外表啊，上面还有，他说他要摆一个猫王的动作。That is pretty cool. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Do you like it?